Yeah, what's up guys, and welcome to day 3 of the £10 Sorare Road to Glory. So, we are 3 days in, and we've been doing a lot of sniping and a fair bit of trading. Nearly doubled our money already, but not quite. So, in today's episode, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be teaching you guys, I guess, about the things you need to be aware of when trading on the weekend in comparison to trading midweek. And in every single episode, we are giving away £10 of Sorare Credit, just so you guys can go and follow the journey. And in yesterday's episode, the winner of £10 Sorare Credit is, congratulations to Jesse Janik. And there we go, there's his name. So I'll be sending over £10 to him. If you guys want to go and enter today's Sorare giveaway, all you need to do is like the video and leave a comment of your Sorare username. As always, if you guys are interested in signing up to Sorare, there is a referral link down below. And once winning 5 cards on the bidding market, you will get yourself a free limited card. I will say though, please do be responsible because of course you can lose money as well as making money. So in today's episode, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you guys about the week cycle and how it can basically affect trading in terms of how easy it is to sell players, if players are likely to rise or drop, and just overall, I guess, what you'll find the easiest for trading. So below we can see we've got ourselves a nice little chart that I've made with what is the general trajectory of cards going into a weekend, coming out of a weekend, and different circumstances. 2 points are marked on here, and that's because these are the 2 most relevant points when it comes to trading. And that is the game week opening on a Tuesday, and the game week closing on a Friday. The most relevant points here is because a lot of people play the weekend game week, so as soon as they can start submitting teams, players normally go up, because people don't really pre-prepare, and because they don't pre-prepare, they kind of wait till the game week opens, then start buying their players. So let's go and walk you guys through the cycle. So Monday to Tuesday, we've gone from Monday to Monday because Monday is the first day where you could actually start seeing some rises. So normally about Monday evening, you can start seeing, people, I deem them early birds, starting to build their team. These are people who are aware that the market rises when the game week opens on a Tuesday. So what they'll do is they'll start buying Monday evening normally, or maybe Tuesday morning. The game week will then open on a Tuesday, and this is where we can see a pretty decent rise. You can normally see a decent rise between midday Tuesday to Tuesday evening. That's because you've got a lot of people, game week's opened, they're doing their quick scouting and they're buying their teams. Then between about Tuesday to Wednesday, you won't see as much of a rise, but the market is normally quite progressive going into the Friday. Then between Wednesday and Thursday, apart from Thursday evening, you don't see a crazy amount of rise. Thursday evening you can see a really decent rise because obviously people might be at work on Friday. So what they like doing is they like building their teams Thursday evening because they just know they're not going to be doing it on Friday. And then on Friday you can sometimes see people acting very, very irrationally. These are people who've not built their teams and they literally get to the last second and they go, well, I need a midfielder, and maybe let's say they want to go and buy someone who's a tenner, and there's none on the market, or there's one on the market for 20 quid, screw it, I'm going to go and buy it for 20 quid as a bit of a gamble as such, rather than being too rational. And that's why we can sometimes see some really nice peaks on Friday. Now, there's a trade-off with waiting till Friday, and that is if you don't sell. So let's say you're going to gamble and sell on Friday because that's the most expensive point. Well, let's say you don't manage to sell the cards. We then normally see a drop between Friday to Saturday. And this is zero impact on the player playing whatsoever. It's normally, this game week will close, people would have bought players specifically for that game week, and they don't want them for the next game week. So what they'll do is they'll drop before they've even played. For example, this week I went and bought myself a Tatas, the AC Milan goalkeeper. And as soon as the game week closed, he went down about 10-20%. And that's because people would have only bought him for that game week, no additional information, and as a result he would have been sold. But he also had a really nice rise going into the Friday. So it's almost you got panic bought, but then at the same time kind of panic sold. And this is a very, very consistent trend across the market. So we're going off the presumption that the player is playing on a Saturday. Obviously if they play on a Friday, this right here is going to happen on the Friday. Likewise, if they play on the Sunday, it will happen on the Sunday. Likewise, if they play on the Monday. So they'll go down after the game week closes, which is normally a pretty ugly time to trade, because what you could do is you could end up getting a deal, and then even though when you bought it, it was a deal, because there's a lack of demand or the demand has dropped off, the card could go down in price. I guess I haven't made this too obvious. The best time to trade is between Monday to Friday, because in theory you're trading in a progressive market. A progressive market is going to have more people buying cards. It means that you could generally misbuy a card, but the card could rise enough to actually catch up with your losses. It means that you could generally just get a bunch of deals on Monday, wait till Friday, and not only could you get the profit on the deals, but you could also get the increased price because of the increase in demand. So yeah, that's why this weekend, or the first few episodes, have maybe been a little bit slow, Because in theory, we are trading in this market right here that, yes, can work in your favour, but it's a little bit more gambling. So we'll talk about what happens on a game day. So what we've got right here is we've got the market dropping because of people selling off their players because they only wanted them for one game week. You then get onto game day. So this right here, we're going off the presumption this is game day. Now you can see that, this has got lots of branches out. And that's because we don't know what's going to happen on game day, right? They could get hit by a meteor, for all we know. That's the hitting by meteor. But no, you could maybe be a main goalkeeper, and the main goalkeeper maybe doesn't start, or the main goalkeeper becomes injured. And what you're going to see is you're going to see the players plummet. So you could have got a decent deal here, and maybe if they were flat, you'd be making decent profit. But maybe they're injured, or maybe the player has had a goal, and everyone anticipates a goal. And then they just have an absolute stinker of a game. It happens. Or, again, maybe starting goalkeeper doesn't start. Or maybe, I don't know, there's 101 things. So basically, an unlikely outcome occurs. Your player could crash. Again, injury, so on and so on and so on. You then have the chance of, or maybe they're an exceptionally good player and they don't play well that 1 week for whatever reason, they could drop a fair bit. But what you'd maybe see that happen more with is just a drop. So basically, let's say they're normally in form really well. Nothing too crazy's happened, but they've dropped in price one way or the other. I recently had an Argentinian centre-back who had like L5, of about 60. He dropped like two, I think it was sub-30 performances, and he just dropped. Like, I can't do anything about that. He didn't rise as much as he was pre-game week, but, it's just, that's what I got for not selling it and kind of doing this, where I was gambling that it was going to rise into the Friday. You've then got a very flat performance. This basically is... So it's kind of all to do with likely outcomes. Unlikely outcome occurs, they crash. I guess that's severely unlikely. Relatively unlikely outcome occurs, they kind of drop in price. So good form, drop off of form. If they do exactly what they're expected to do, expect them doing that. Let's say they're expected a L5 of 50, they get an L5 of 50. They're expected, I don't know, not to play, they don't play, they'll be there. They're expected to come on as a sub. They don't really do much, but that's what they do every game. That's that. Because it's all to do with how likely is what they've done expected. If they weren't expected to start as the goalkeeper and they didn't start as a goalkeeper, they do that. We now move to unlikely outcomes that occurred, but in your favour. For example, you've got a sub, but he's the starting striker. He'll go up in price, even without having a great game, because he's gone from being a pleb to an actual good, player. Let's say, for example, your midfielder, who normally gets a score of 50, 60 AA, gets a decisive, gets maybe a 70, 80 score. He'll go up in price. Let's say, for example, someone who, I don't know. But basically, this is like an unlikely but favourable outcome ends up happening. Maybe they're a really good player for the cap 20, and then they drop in another score that doesn't push them to have a dodgy L15 in that. Now they've got a slightly better L5. And then we get to the unlikely outcomes, but, you really want to occur. Maybe you've bought a second goalkeeper. He becomes the main goalkeeper. Skyrocket. You've got your sub. They go and score 3 goals when they're subbed on. I actually had this happen with Fabian Klos this week. Subbed on in the 70th minute, 2 goals. Went from 70p to £4. That's, obviously what we're looking at there, like a 5, 6, 7x in his price. But it's unlikely that you're going to get subbed on and score 2 goals in 70 minutes. But because it's unlikely, when it does occur, they therefore rise really nicely. Say second goalkeeper, so on and so on. Basically, unlikely outcomes that end up just working in your favour. And this is why between a Friday post deadline all the way through to Monday, maybe morning, is why the market isn't as fun, because people don't want to gamble on this. People are aware that this is the gamble, and they don't really fancy gambling on it. Now, you've got nothing really to worry about if you've got like a second goalkeeper, because the second goalkeeper is unlikely to have an unfavourable outcome, because already they're unfavourable. So them just not starting doesn't do anything. So that's why I quite like trading on these sort of days with people who have no L5 whatsoever, players who maybe just have a red X, so they're not covered whatsoever, Asian players, MLS players, players who aren't in season at the moment. Doesn't matter what happens midweek, they're not even playing for another 3-4 months, unless, let's say, that you get unfortunate and they have a transfer, but that could happen any time in the game week. So, and also you're gonna find it harder to sell people cards because people are just worried about this. So this hopefully will help you guys out a little bit on when we find it the easiest to trade. That is here. When would you ideally want to get your cards rid of? probably at least look at selling them. I normally just wait to see what they are Tuesday evening and then just sell them for the cheapest on the market Tuesday evening onwards, just to make sure I don't worry about, I don't miss out on the initial hype of people building their teams, but at the same time I'm not playing it too risky. But in the end of the day, it does depend how many cards you do have to go and sell on. And yeah, I think that's about it. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to show you guys some deals we managed to sell on yesterday, and yeah, see what sort of money we can make today. We have sold on 2 players between last episode and this one, so that's going to show you guys the profits. So the first player is Hong Sung Wook, who we picked up 27p, and we managed to sell him for 55p. So even though there were a fair few trash players that we've been buying in this series, we've already managed to sell on like 2 of them, which I'm sure will cover the price for the rest of them. So picking up trash players isn't the worst, because sometimes you can have such high quantity of them that they can pay for themselves. You just need a little bit of patience. And the second player we sold on a little bit cheaper than what I wanted to sell him on for, but it's been about 2 days and I haven't sold him, and I thought I'd sell him a little bit faster, and I quite enjoy having a bit of cash flow. But that is the likes of Sebastian Anderson, who we picked up for 55p, who we've gone and sold on there for 69p. This now gives me 10 players and a kitty of £5.13. So we're not looking too bad. In theory, we are up £7.25 in profit. By the end of the episode, we should have hopefully have doubled our money within 3 days of trading. So we are going to be doing the sniping bot method. Once again, in the last 2 episodes, I've gone through it. But basically, what I do is I open a tab for every single one of these people I'm following. Because every single one of these people I'm following are either a trader or a snipe bot. Then what I do is I see, once they've won a card, who they've won a card off of, and try and win some deals. Because the idea is I use these people to source people who will give me good deals, or, will let cheap cards, go for a little bit cheaper. And then I go and send over some deals to try and just save myself sending over loads of trade offers when I've only really got a budget of £17 to work with. So without further ado, let's go and show you guys some of the deals we managed to get today. So we have managed to go and get ourselves some deals. Now, I'll be honest with you, we were generally here for about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, putting about 30, 40 trade offers rejected. There were a few people giving off deals, but again, I'm just not on the budget where I can just send over loads of trade offers and make the most of it. But we managed to hit, and yeah, you can see we've done pretty decently. We've got 6 deals, so let's go and add some really decent profit, which I'll show you guys at the end. I won't ruin it. So let's get through these deals that we managed to get. So I'm just going to get my spreadsheet up. So the first card that we got is the likes of Dre Wright. Dre Wright, we've gone and picked up for 94p. He is going to go and get listed for the likes of £1.34. The second person is Carl Magnus, who he picked up for 54p, and he's going to go up there for 94p. The third player we got is Jeong Seung Min, who we picked up for 40p. We're going to go listen for 94p. I maybe could get a quid, or maybe could get a little bit more, but again, I've only got £1.70 to work with at the moment, so I'd prefer to kind of increase the cash flow and take a hit on the potential profits. But we picked him up for 40p. He's going up for 94p. So the next player we got is Said Bakari, who we've gone and picked up for 27p. We do love these cheap players, and we're going to be hopefully selling him for £1.54. Then we got the best profit out of all of them, which is Lucas Schoffs. We've gone and picked this guy up for 67p. He sold for just £1.92, literally earlier today, and the cheapest on the market is £2.55. So we're going to go and list him up for £1.92. He's going to make about £1.30 profit on him, so very, very nice. And the last player we've got is a guy with a double, I don't know, both his names begin with a T. Picks him up here for 67p, going up for £1.07. Total profit on all these players is £6.75. Obviously that's projected, which is going to go and put us up to 24 quid after 3 episodes. So very, very nice. Now I only have £1.70 to work with, so I'm not quite sure if we'll get any other deals. But yeah, very, very nice, because obviously it's going to be an absolute nightmare sending over trade offers, because I could probably only send over a maximum of 3 trade offers at a time. But very, very happy how that is. Again, some really, really nice deals there. I mean, that's going to bring our total amount of players that we now own up to 16 players with still £1.70 to go. So looking really good. We're really, moving this road to glory. And all it takes is a few, I guess, gold mines of people who will give you deals, and you can really get the ball rolling. Rare occasion that a player that we bought in this episode, we've sold in this episode, and that is Said Bakari, who we went and picked up for 27p, and we've gone and flipped for 54p. So happy days, happy days. Gives us £2 now to work with. And we got what is going to be the last deal of the day, and that is a Thomas Gabera. Now we've managed to go and pick this guy up for 54p. He will be very, very easy to go and sell here at £8.30. sorry, 83p. The reason this guy sells on so much is, or so easily, is because I think he's the cheapest Challenger Pro goalkeeper. And as a result, it's just consistently bought literally just to fill people's teams. So this is going to be the last deal. It is going to set our profit for the day down at £24.23, which is not bad. Bear in mind we're only on 17 for the day. The current pool of players that we have are, well, these four. 1, 2, 3. Another 4 there, another 4 there, and 1 right there. On top of that, we've got ourselves about £1.70 to work with. So hopefully we'll get a few sales overnight, otherwise tomorrow we'll be looking a little bit ropey. So in tomorrow's episode, what we're going to do is just talk about the easiest players that you guys can trade with that you'll be able to sell them pretty fast, just in case you guys are having some problems buying players but not managing to sell them. But thank you very much for watching today's episode, and I shall see you guys tomorrow with a brand new episode.